Zionist, like in heart, that I felt like all the Jews should be in, you know, the Holy Land because we belong there. But I went there a few times and I really loved it. I really loved all the things that I couldn't find here. I found there, such as the temperament, like the kind of the people's behavior. It was very open. It was like whatever was happening to you on the street, even like random people, it was their business too. And after a while living there, it was really difficult because I'm raised here, and here people actually try to hide whatever is their personal issue. But at that time I really liked this solidarity and kind of like feeling that, you know, if something happens to you and you pass out on the street, everybody will try to help you. They'll try to find out what happened and also to learn about all your issues, but at the same time they'll help you. And I had the feeling, and it happened to me, that, you know, something was wrong. I don't know, I hurt my knee on the street in Warsaw and like totally nobody cared. So it felt like, oh, this is wonderful, everybody together and so engaged. And I really like this openness and like being straightforward, and that everything is so energetic. I like all the things that I didn't understand, like the culture, the things that I saw, the music you hear, and culture of eating, and the diversity, like all these people. And here Warsaw was, you know, pretty sad and homogenic. Everybody's Polish, you know, comes from a Catholic background, and just generations here, and it felt boring. And at that time I couldn't find anything interesting here in Warsaw. It felt like it's all about the war and the, you know, martyrology of Polish nation, and I had really enough of it because that was what they gave us at school, and all the celebrations were about another anniversary of another, you know, terrible event. And Tel Aviv was sun and the beach, you know. I'm like a little bit sarcastic about it now, but in a way that was what I felt. So I went there, I tried. First I went to study, and after coming back I knew I have to try like the real life, because I went to study and I got a scholarship, and I was in another bubble. It was a very easy, nice life in Jerusalem at that time, and then I thought, okay, it's time to check the real life in Israel, and that's why I made Aliyah. I was looking for a job, I was studying Hebrew, and it was really, really interesting, and it enriched me, you know, like sometimes I have very intense experiences that just make you jump a few years ahead, even though they last for a shorter time. So it was wonderful, but the moment that I felt like, okay, every day I go with the same short, you know, the same line. I leave on a stop and then I go to work. I come back, I do shopping. It's life, and it's okay, and it has its difficulties, like, you know, those just boring everyday issues. And I felt like that all those boring everyday issues I prefer here, because I know them and I know how to deal with them. And being there, all these reasons for me to be there, they disappear when it becomes just a regular, you know, part of your life. And of course it was also difficult because of people, because I left, you know, very close friends, and And it's not that easy to find people that will be that close to you in a very short time, especially when you're 24, 25, which means that for Israeli, they have already, you know, the bunch of friends from school and from the army and the family and the neighbors. So, but this is just the story of an immigrant, I guess, everywhere. But because of all these things, and I got a job here, so I decided to come back. And I forgot to say also that when I decided to make Aliyah, I had this feeling that being Jewish here in Poland means a choice and something that I have to put in action, do something about it, because just being is not enough. And that when I go to Israel, it will be enough, just being there, and I can do other things, like whatever, not things that are connected. And somehow it's probably true. But in the end, I chose to, you know, actively be Jewish here. And I have no idea if I lived in another place, in another dynamics of the Jewish community, if I had the power to be as engaged. I don't know. Because I'm Polish, there's no choice in it. And it's like in every level of my existence without even being aware of it, because it's the language, like one of the most important things. This is my first language and the only language that I really feel comfortable in. No matter how many words in Hebrew I'll know, it's just you know, a specific way of naming the world, and all the books from the childhood and the experiences that I share with other Polish people, even like anonymous Polish people, and the places I was born here. So it's much more like a natural, you know, thing that builds me up on different levels. And the Jewish part, it's much more a conscious thing, I guess. And it's really based on the circumstances. I mean, not anymore, because now if the circumstances changed, I wouldn't feel less Jewish. But I got to this point because of certain events in my life and certain choices that without them it might have been totally different. And with the Polish identity, I don't think. It just is.